Hey everybody, this is JP Hunt with InkSoft, and this is the first episode in a new podcast series that we are calling the InkSoft Sell More Merch podcast. Now, the intent of this podcast is to really focus in on sales and marketing tips, techniques, and strategy that will help you more effectively sell printed goods. So, let me introduce today's topic, and this is all about speed and action. Now, let's imagine we were in a room with 100 print entrepreneurs, print shops, and I asked the question, what is your definition of speed? I imagine the sort of consensus would be speed relates to our ability to turn products, so turn times, right? So let me introduce the concept of speed in a different context, and that is the speed that it takes to respond to prospective customers. And let me kind of set up the importance of being the fastest compared to your peers and your competitors in terms of responding to a prospective customer. So I wrote a note a while ago, and I believe this was from a Seth Godin podcast, and he had signaled there was pretty strong data to indicate that a homeowner or a person that's selling a home will partner with the very first real estate agent that responds to their phone call or their needs. So can you imagine the most important financial decision a typical consumer will make is either the purchase of a home or the sale of their home? They're willing to trust the very first real estate agent that actually responds to them. So with that said, we can kind of deduce that as a print shop, if we respond first and foremost with priority to our prospective customers, the likelihood of gaining that relationship likely will increase. So that is my definition of speed. I also wanted to give you another perspective on speed, and this is something referred to as the half-life of information. So today's consumers are constantly bombarded by messaging and clutter and noise. So with that said, generally a consumer forgets information that they garnered yesterday. So here's the context. If I go to your website and I learn about your brand, I get a sense of who you are, your services, what it is that you do. Well, if it takes you 3 days to get back to me, I'm likely to forget about all of that information or a majority of that information. So recall is certainly dramatically reduced because consumers are, again, bombarded by information every single day. So again, the faster you can respond to a prospective customer, the more mind share, more top of mind you'll retain. So let me kind of connect speed, which again, I've kind of laid out my definition of speed, and that's being the quickest to respond to a prospective customer. Let's also talk about action. And I wrote a note a long time ago. This coincidentally also happened to be from Seth Godin, who I've been tuning into a lot of his podcasts and books and strongly encourage you to do the same. But I wrote a note in my marketing notes, and I underscored it. And let me make the point. The best way to earn trust is with action. So of course, as a marketer, establishing trust early on and constantly is super important, right? If you expect a consumer to trust you with an order. In particular, trust you to decorate and outfit their organization, their event, make them look good. There's a lot of trust that's involved there, right? So in my mind, there's really two main types, or rather categories of action that you need to be mindful of. Now, there's the human engagement category. So these are the things like the experience a consumer might have when they call you and interact with you on the phone. Do they get voicemail? Do they get a voicemail as full message? Do they get a friendly person that's greeting in a professional way? Other terms of or other kinds of human engagement could be email, a one-to-one email conversation. It could be messaging through Facebook Messenger or text dialogue or through a chat function on your website. So that's the first category of human engagement. Let's talk about the second type of action, which is virtual. And really that's two categories, if you will, subcategories. You have the website experience, and then maybe you have a digital social media, experience. So I, as a consumer who need printed products, what kind of action can I get from your website? So let's look at custom ink. What sort of actions do they allow on their website? Things like the ability to contact, the ability to get an online quote, the ability to design online, the ability to browse and understand products that are available and product attributes. Of course, the most important thing, the ability to check out and complete a purchase online. So obviously, these are important little micro trust factors. The more action you allow for on your digital, presence and digital experience, the more trust you're establishing. Now, of course, on social media, a prospective customer can really get an understanding of who you service in terms of customers. Are you focused on a specific segment or market that has no bearing to what it is that I do? Is there a mismatch in terms of personality of brand and offering? What are customers saying about your brand and about your quality and service? What is the story that you're telling? These are all things that can be deduced from one's social media channel or presence. So again, in summary, the best way to establish trust is with action, allowing your prospective customers to get something by interacting with you. And again, that could be those human types of engagements, or it could be the digital engagements. The more of these actions that you can deliver, the higher the trust factor will go up. So let's bring this to a summary and bring this to conclusion. You can win more business by being the fastest to respond to a prospective customer. So this is a matter of prioritizing response time to your prospective customers. Test this, see the impact that it has in your business. So if we looked at and maybe surveyed, let's say it was 100 different decorators, print shops in a metro area, and we tested the response time on average, it'd be very interesting to see what that looks like, but I imagine it's not very quick. So again, can you prioritize and be the fastest among your peers and competition in terms of response time? I imagine, based on the data and based on the anecdotal evidence we see with real estate agents, the likelihood of increasing and winning that business is great. Now, you can further increase that likelihood if you can establish trust via action. So layering, again, these two techniques together, speed and action, is going to help you increase the likelihood of winning prospective customers' business. It isn't always going to come down to who has the lowest price, who has necessarily the quickest turn times. Oftentimes, it's going to be who responds in the fastest way, and of course, in the most professional and appropriate way. So that is, again, our first topic. I look forward to delivering more of these, and I'd certainly like to hear from you. What are the marketing challenges that you are facing every day? What are the tips and techniques that you lust to learn more about? Please zap me your feedback, and you can do that by emailing jp@inksoft.com.